I am a cow with wings.
You're my bestest friend in the whole wide world, Cassie.
Do you need a timeout? Yes.
Here's the real story.
The Mad Cow by Keegan Schreiber. Once upon a time in Halloween, there was a cow. Now this cow was weird and always had bloodshot eyes. He had a funny accent. No, wait, cows don't talk.
That's silly.
He was a dairy cow and he had a face and it smelled, well, like a cow. One day the cow ate radioactive candy that eventually made him
huge.
And he always said,
Kids made fun of his blubberous body. He was sad, and he ran fast home so no one could see him. It was great. I thought it was funny, but other kids thought it was disgusting, and I don't think it's funny, and now I think it's funny because it's funny. Every day he ate more and more radioactive candy. The candy eventually made him as fat as a whale. Then one day he turned into a mad cow with rabies. Because of that, he was as cool, or pretty much cooler, than Keegan, and that made him the coolest, most awesomest thing on the whole entire earth. When he learned that he was cool, or pretty much cooler than Keegan, and the coolest thing on earth, he shouted out in glee, because of that, he owned that popularity scale. Ever since that day, he ruled everyone, and every Halloween, he was the mad cow with rabies. Here are some other sounds the mad cow would have made.
Moo. Moo, 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 moo. Moo? Who mooed you? You moo moo? Who moo? Moo you. No, no, no. Of the